Hey everyone, let's talk grammar. Let's talk grammar specifically about participles for the first half of the video and then participial phrases for the second half, all right? As you know, I'll talk about the definition of a participle here in just a second. And then the participial phrase is just a collection of words, because we know that's what a phrase is from earlier videos, but it is a phrase that begins with a participle, all right? So what exactly is a participle? Now, there are a lot of ways that we can look at participle, but the specific way that I want us to look at it for our purposes in this video is that this is a verb form that acts or performs the duties of as an adjective. So if you were to see the word on its own, essentially, without, taken completely out of context, you would look at that word and go, oh, we've got a verb on our hands. However, the purpose that it serves in the sentence is not an action necessarily, all right? What it's doing more is modifying a noun. All right, so I'll show you. A lot of them you will see end in ing. All right, these are what are known as present participles. All right, and I'm going to put this in parentheses because usually no one, when I know people there, they don't discuss, oh, that's a present participle. All right, it's a participle. Okay, and a lot of them end in ing. So let's think about this. Every one of you, I would imagine, if you're watching a video online, you probably have this at home at least, and that's running water. All right. This right now, if you were just to see out of context the word running, you would think to yourself, oh, running is a verb. It's an action. However, when it's used in this case, what it's doing is it's modifying the noun water. All right? So, yes, participles are adjectives. It's just a specific type because it's using the verb form of the word as the adjective, okay? So in other examples might be the whispering wind. Okay, wind being a noun, this ending in ing, but modifying. How are we describing the wind? All right. The list could go on and on. Sleeping student. All right, ing, modifying this noun. All right, so I don't think it's a difficult concept to come up with just what is a participle on its own, all right, when we have this normal construction here. Likewise, we have the present participle, all right, but of course, if we have a present participle, that would mean we would also have past participles. And actually, I'm going to let that one off without the parentheses there, because most of the time whenever I hear people discuss past participles, they do say, oh, that there is a past participle, right? Now, this is a verb form, used as an adjective. It's just the past tense of the verb. All right, so you might see something like, a broken window. Okay. So, for example, so this is a past tense verb modifying a noun, right? Over here, we might have, breaking news. Okay, ing modifying the noun like that. Breaking news. Over here, past tense would be a broken window. So you see, present tense, past tense. All right? You have a winded athlete. Okay, someone who's lost it. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm winded. All right? This right here, past tense, noun. All right? How about a half-eaten apple? All right, noun, half-eaten. Eaten is past tense, modifying. All right? So what I might suggest to you, might be a benefit to you, is if you paused the video right now and maybe practiced with this for a little while. Find some verb, a few present tense ones. Make yourself a list. A few past tense ones. Make yourself a list. Try it yourself, so therefore you might, better understand it, because it would benefit you to practice. Of course, I'll have practice for you in the shape of assignments if you're a student of mine, but try it on your own for just a second. So how do we use these in a sentence? All right, let's look at our sentence that we always seem to rely on whenever we do these bits of grammar. The car chugged into the parking lot. Now, the more savvy students might look at this and think, well, wait a minute. Isn't there already a participle in this sentence? And the answer is yes, of course, there is. What type of lot is it? It's a parking lot. ING, parking, is a verb normally. In this case, though, it's modifying or describing the type of lot that we have. It's not a vacant lot. That's a certain type of lot. This one, however, is a parking lot. That's totally different. So we're modifying the type of lot it is by using this word that usually has all the appearance of and usually is considered to be a verb. However, as it's used here, that's not the case. All right. So let's give this sentence, I guess, some other participles. I'm going to use two. Wobbling and smoking. The car chugged into the parking lot. All right. I'll turn it so we can see a little bit there. Okay. So we still have, yes, of course, parking lot. So my question is, what is the car doing in this sentence? What is the verb that the car is doing? Because the car is the subject. I'll just give you that. So what is the car doing? What's the action of the car? Well, the car chugged. Okay? How are we describing the car? What words are we using? Well, we can identify the car because it's the car that is wobbling. Oops. It is the car that is smoking. All right? So the car action does is chugged. Now, which car are we talking about? We're talking about the wobbling, smoking car over there. That's the one. All right, so that's how these work. So I want us to think about this. I'm going to keep this sentence here, and I want us to think about a participial phrase. All right? Because this is a single participle modifying car. This is a single participle modifying car. So what do we do then if we want to use a participial phrase? We have smoking from its tailpipe. The car chugged into the parking lot. Dragging its bumper behind it. The car chugged into the parking lot. All right? Coughing huge puffs of smoke. The car chugged into the parking lot. Now let's think about a past tense one. Okay? Battered by hail. You know, like a hail damaged car. Battered by hail. The car chugged into the parking lot. Okay? You just say, you know, weathered and beaten. The car chugged into the parking lot. Any of these work, all right? Now this is a single participle and another single participle like we had up here, all right? But smoking from its tailpipe, the car chugged into the parking lot. Dragging its bumper behind it, the car chugged into the parking lot. Coughing huge puffs of smoke, the car chugged into the parking lot. Battered by hail, the car, all of these things are describing the car. But if you'll look, we are beginning with these verb forms, all right? The phrase begins with the participle, present or past, and what it is doing is modifying car. So we have the car chugged in the parking lot, of course. But let's look at this, you know, dragging its bumper behind it. The car chugged into the parking lot. Okay. I just keep going farther and farther down, don't I? All right. Well, what if we did something a little bit like this? The car dragging its bumper behind it chugged into the parking lot. All right. Or what if we did the car chugged into the parking lot, dragging its bumper behind it. All right. So we have dragging its bumper behind it, the car chugged into the parking lot. Or the car dragging its bumper behind it, chugged into the parking lot. Or the car chugged into the parking lot, dragging, well, I really messed that up, didn't I? Dragging its bumper behind it. We get to make the choice. When we write a sentence, we get to make a choice how that sentence actually goes down on the page. Which one do you prefer? Dragging its bumper behind it, the car chugged into the parking lot? Or maybe the car, dragging its bumper behind it, chugged into the parking lot? Or maybe the car chugged into the parking lot, dragging its bumper behind it. You get to decide which one sounds best for whatever it is that you're writing. And that's why I love English. We get to make these decisions. We're not confined to certain formulae, if you want to get that. But I want you to think about which one sounds best to you. And if one of them does sound best or better or worse, you're starting to understand style. One sounds more like you. One sounds more like something you would write, and that's because it speaks to your style. It sounds more authentic to you, and therefore, it's something you might gravitate toward. But I want to point out the usefulness of these things. All right? I won't have to write, the car has a bumper dragging behind it. The car chugged into the parking lot. I don't have to write, and what I see far too often when my students write, is they write a sentence for every idea they have. They don't combine ideas into a certain sentence. When I look at college essays, when students bring me those, when I read literary note cards, which you all are working on right now if you're in my class, a lot of you want, you need to conserve the space because I only allow 4 pages for a literary note card. When you're writing for your college essay, you're only allowed a certain word count to say everything you want to say. And a lot of you go over those things and you don't know how to say everything you want to say in the confined space. Well, if you can start combining ideas like using participial phrases, okay, then you're going to have a much easier time. All right? So these are present participles. Let's think about a past participle here, and let's do a totally different sentence. Dressed in his finest clothes. All right. The man hit the dance floor. All right. Dressed, past tense. Dressed in his finest clothes, the man hit the dance floor. So, first of all, what did he do? He hit the dance floor. All right. The subject is the man. What did the man do? He hit. Now, which man are we talking about? Oh, we're talking about the one dressed in his finest clothes. All right. Someone else, some other man may be hitting the dance floor, dressed in just a t-shirt and jeans. But dressed in his finest clothes, the man, oh, that's the man. The one dressed in his finest clothes. Okay, there you go. And again, we can do the same thing here. The man, dressed in his finest clothes, hit the dance floor, or the man hit the dance floor dressed in his finest clothes. It doesn't matter. One of those sounds better to you than the other one, and that's the one you may gravitate toward. Or you may gravitate toward one, given the circumstance of what you're writing, and another one in another circumstance. You get to feel that out. All right? But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's the participle and the participial phrase. All right? So, add that to your positives that we did the other day. Stay tuned for the absolute. All right? Thanks for your time. Check you later.